ladies and gentlemen. Okay, it is time for the season finale, Papa Russ QUARAN-BITS of the week. And I'm really excited for this edition because, first of all, everybody, as you could tell, and what I said at the top of the show, 3 out of 4 Philly teams are playing simultaneously right now. And Lord knows, as you can see from looking around my room, I love these Philly sports, okay? And I missed my Philly sports during the pandemic quarantine. But now that sports have come back, I will tell you, in Philly, it is way too much sports at once, okay? They are trying to kill your boy, okay? We Philly fans cannot emotionally handle this. We are not built for a Wednesday afternoon Philly across the board 0-3 day, okay? That's 9.5 hours of losing. Do you understand? I cannot take a Flyers and Sixers playoff loss while realizing the Phillies bullpen still sucks after 12 fucking years, okay? I'm gonna keel over, all right? They're trying to kill your boy. And it's too much sports. It's every single day. It's like having a job. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm starting to miss my family, and we have been quarantined together since March. It's ridiculous. Now, I will say this. I went to school for musical theater, and a lot of comics and friends would accuse me and tell you that I am a bit effeminate. They are right. By my eye gestures and hand gestures alone, that would tell you something. But I know they're right, because one of the main things I love about sports is actually all of the Philly gear and the clothes and the fashion. I'm like fucking RuPaul's Drag Race. When you go to a sports bar with your friends, like when I used to live in LA, everyone's like, yo, look at the shoes. We're all peacocking, gazelling in front of each other, okay? I love the gear. And I grew up in the 90s, so I am always trying to be a 90s hip-hop video come to life. I'm trying to be G'd up from the feet up, as they say. I gotta have the hat, the jersey, the sneakers, everything's gotta match. I gotta look like I'm selling you weed in Harlem on the corner. You know what I'm talking about. So the thing is that the problem I'm having is that it's too many costume changes now during the day too. You know, I feel like Sarah Jessica Parker hosting the Emmys, you know? It's always strippity strip. I'm like in a production of Gypsy. I'm always costume changing because I always got to be geared up, you know what I mean? And the other day, by the time we lost 3 games in a row, I found myself at the laptop entering in my journal like I'm Carrie Bradshaw, and the question still remained, was I worried about Ben Simmons' knee or finding the Ben Simmons in me? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. The madness needs to stop. And I said, I went to school for musical theater. I fucking love costume changes. I love great costume changes. They're awesome, but it's too much and the madness needs to stop. The last thing I will say on this subject, clap your hands if you're having a good time. I know I am talking about this stuff. If you're having a good time. Now, the last thing I'll say about this is that I went to this place, Rally House, even though I'm in the pandemic. I got all masked up. I know Naomi Ekparagon calls it the pandemic. I got all masked up in what Flyers gear I do have. But I went to this place, Rally House, where I finally found a Flyers jersey that I wanted because I lost my Ron Hextall jersey from when I was younger. It was a very painful experience, and we never talk about it in this house, okay? And I finally found a jersey that I wanted, and I went there to get it. And this place, Rally House, is amazing. They have it in different cities, and what they do is they regionalize the store, so it has everything you can ever imagine of every Philly team, every jersey you can ever imagine, but also like chew toys for a hamster with every Philly logo on it. It's like staring into the sun for someone like me, okay? And I stormed into this place all masked up and all, and I tortured this poor kid Julian working at the front, trying to social distance, trying to wear his mask, trying to earn money over the summer during a pandemic. And I'm like such an anxious Jew about it. I make him get the large, the medium, and the small with the little, you know, hook thing. I'm trying them all on. I'm throwing him all kinds of questions. I'm like, Julian, do you think this one's too big? Do you think this one's too tight, Julian? Do you think my uncle will ever be truly proud of me or always be emotionally distant? I just put so much on Julian. So big shout out to Julian, because at one point he's like, sir, I go on break in 10 minutes. I'm scared. So I feel bad for Julian. So shout out if he ever stumbles upon this show, okay? But here is why, so that was a little side Julian story, but here is why you can never let someone like me free in a rally house full of Philly stuff like that, because I will tell you this, they have everything. And Dan, I know you're joining us later, Patty, my dad, everybody, no one needs a $68 ergonomic memory cooling foam Eagles neck pillow. Okay, one can only want a $68 ergonomic cooling foam Eagles neck pillow. And I thought to myself, what kind of ridiculous asshole would buy such a thing? But I ask you this, America, is a man not allowed to avoid a muscle spasm in his neck after a beautiful, deserved night of sleep, whilst also representing? Okay, am I not a man? Am I not an American? Okay, and then I know what you're asking yourself. I know what you're asking yourself, Dad. But Russell, can't you get the same memory cooling foam neck pillow for $20 at the CVS or the Walgreens or the Duane Reade or wherever you live? The answer is sometimes for $18 on clearance. But will it have this little Eagles logo on it? No, not. The state rests. Move to strike. Your witness. Thank you. So give it up for Too Much Sports, ladies and gentlemen. It's Too Much Sports for Russell at once, okay? Now, before we move on to our lost segment and next guest, I have one more set of QUARAN-BIT for you. And this is a really amazing thing because I'm not really hip to modern society sometimes and social media. And even our next guest can tell you, I own a virtual reality PlayStation, but cannot sign into Instagram Live properly. So I am limited in some of this department. But I will tell you this, I am aware of a trend called sliding into people's DMs. And big news, everybody, I found out that guys are consistently sliding in to my wife's DMs. So give it up for me, first of all. I did it. People are jelly Kelly of me, and I love it, okay? People are sliding into my wife's DMs. I had no idea. I was only familiar with this sliding into the DMs thing, where a random person messages even a married person trying to, you know, get in their pantaloons. And I'd only heard about it really through stand-up and female comics talking about it. Some guy comics have jokes about it, but a lot of female comics talk about it a lot. So that's the only way I'm familiar with that. And a lot of life is through stand-up. And I found out people are sliding into my wife's DMs. I was so excited. And the way I found out was my wife posted a tribute post about the 100th anniversary of women's suffrage here in America and gaining the right to vote. So give it up for the women's right to vote, ladies and gentlemen. Vote Biden-Harris in November, right? Okay. Okay. And then all of a sudden my wife looks up from her phone and she says, yeah, nothing says slide into my DMs like a post about women's suffrage. And I said, oh my God, Dara, do guys slide into your DMs? And she's like, yeah, all the time. It happens to all women. And I was like, holy shit, that's amazing. Because at first, I was so excited for my wife. I was like, congrats, honey. You are looking great. You still got it. You are looking fit. You look great in pictures. You don't even have to throw a lot of filters on it. You have excellent personalities and memories. I mean, I'm proud of you. I was excited for you. I was proud of myself. You know what I mean? And then Dara was like, you know, hey, Russell, it's no big deal. It happens to all girls. I can have an eye patch and a peg leg, and you're going to get a lot of messages. And I had no idea. You know what I mean? Because comedians exaggerate things for jokes, but apparently this happens every day, okay? And it's to married ladies, too. Mark Zuckerberg is out here breaking up families. Because then I thought about it for just about 30 more seconds, because at first I was so excited for Dara. But then I thought, oh my God, these guys do even a shallow deep dive into most of the pictures of Dara's like available social media. And they take one look at me and they're like, well, look at this chucklehead, dumbass, goofy motherfucker. I could definitely replace him. Look at him. That's like a 12-year-old in his little jerseys. I can replace that overbite in a second. Very insulting. You know, this person is like, obviously, the only thing missing from her beautiful life, home, family, and children is this dick. Like, oh my God, what an insult. Okay. And then I gave it a few more minutes to marinate. And I got jealous. And not jealous like, oh, Dara and I would ever participate in such a heinous act. And also, let me tell you something. Dara and I do not like inconvenience. What if one of these messages worked and you actually like ended up with this other person or breaking up a family? Have you seen the lines at the DMV? You would have to change your address, your cable bill, a bunch of your passwords. Nobody needs that shit in that life. What a mishigots that would be. Dara never even changed her last name because we're not going to go through any kind of inconvenience, okay? But I got jealous because Dara then says to me, but Russell, haven't you gotten one of these before? And I was like, well, no, Dara. Apparently, no ladies have even accidentally walked past my DMs, let alone attempted to slid into them, okay? You know, and not that I would ever want to participate in such a thing, but it would be nice to be asked. You know, it's like they say in show business, it's an honor just to be nominated. Right? You know Meryl Streep's going to win, but, you know, you want to be invited to the Golden Globes. My goodness, you know, and I have to say, it's like, what a confidence builder that would be for someone like me. You know, who's obviously goofy enough looking that guys are like, I'm going to break up this marriage. You know what I mean? And I couldn't help but thinking, you know, no wonder my wife is so confident going around bossing me around and everybody else in her life all day long, because apparently she's out here like Bruce Lee blocking unsolicited dicks all the time. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Cobra Kai in that shit. Whoa! I had no idea. So give it up for me and my wife still sticking together despite so much sliding into her DMs. And my DMs, total ghost town. It's nothing but comics like, thanks for the pictures, Russ. Looks great. So that's the extent of my DM history. All right. Are you guys having a good time? Give it up for yourselves for joining. I was so glad to do that. I've had such a